Hey, Richie and DJ. Thank you for the willingness to explore new opportunities with me. I wanted to give you a clear picture of what I'm seeing, what I've actually verified, and what I'm proposing we do together. I appreciate you opening up about both businesses, the opportunities in front of you, and the possibility of working together. I don't take that trust or your time for granted. This is not a pitch for a giant AI project or a promise that technology will solve everything. It is a proposal to understand the businesses from the inside. Make the value you have already created easier to find and easier to operate, and then prove the highest value improvements with real numbers. My goal is to help APT and Pathway grow together without confusing the two businesses, overloading the team, or building something before we understand the actual workflow. I went back through both Firefly's transcripts from August 24 and anchored the important points to the recordings. For APT, Richie described a separate training business built around club contracts, smaller training, and testing. He described trainer capacity as a constraint. He also described laser testing for larger organizations as a higher value opportunity than selling individual sessions. And he said there are a lot of success stories that are not being promoted consistently. For Pathway, Richie described 5 schools and a daily model that combines morning soccer training with school. He also said Pathway needs a simpler system and that the next discussion needs to include the leadership team, including Danny and Chris. One important correction shaped my thinking. APT and Pathway can be connected, and that connection has happened before, but APT is not simply a lead magnet for Pathway. APT needs to remain a valuable standalone business. Pathway is a separate, higher commitment decision for the right student athlete and family. The longer term vision Richie described is a training library with exercises, videos, plans, and local coaches who can deliver a consistent system in other markets. That is a future concept to investigate, not something I'm presenting as already built or proven. At a I also checked the current public sources so we are not basing the strategy only on conversation notes. Pathway's official locations page currently publishes 5 campuses: Deerfield, Pembroke Pines, Miami, Doral, and Atlanta. Its admissions page describes a path from a tour or trial form to an interview to a full trial day and then an enrollment application. The public site positions Pathway around academics, soccer development, character development, player management, and the student athlete experience. It also publicly describes individualized development plans, evaluations, workload, and recovery monitoring, and feedback for players and families. Those are important operating promises. Our job is to understand how consistently they are delivered, documented, and communicated across the campuses. APT's current public site already has a $15 trial session and presents technical training, physical training, video analysis, group training, and one-on-one training. That gives us a real starting point. We do not need to invent an offer before we understand what is actually profitable, available, and repeatable. The market research is useful, but it needs to be described accurately. Our August 24th Data for SEO snapshot recorded approximately 4,400 monthly Google Ads searches in the United States for the phrase Pathway Schools, 590 in Florida, and 390 in the Miami Fort Lauderdale location pool. That is a directional search volume signal, not a promise of leads or enrollments. The same snapshot estimated 36 observed organic keywords and about 1,544 in estimated monthly traffic value for the Pathway domain versus 40 observed keywords and about 119 in estimated monthly traffic value for APT. Those are third-party estimates, not analytics from either business. The practical conclusion is not that one company is good at marketing and the other is bad. The conclusion is that we have a search and brand architecture question to solve. Pathway has branded recognition. APT has a small and mixed search footprint, and some APT pages are ranking for pathway related terms. We should decide which business owns each promise and then measure whether that improves qualified demand. The competitor research is a map of categories, not a claim that every competitor is directly comparable. Soccer 5 shows the power of local facilities, leagues, and bookable distribution. DME shows how academics and elite soccer can be packaged together. Barwiz shows how performance, evaluation, and rehabilitation can be combined under one authority brand. Parasi and Velocity show how training systems and locations can scale. We should use those examples to clarify our own choices, not imitate them. APT can investigate a measurable soccer performance and testing position. Pathway can make the scholar athlete decision clearer, but both positions must be proven through the team's actual delivery, customer language, and conversion data. The framework is simple. First, establish operating truth, then run a controlled growth pilot, and only then document the playbook for expansion. Stage 1 is the operating truth sprint. I will sit with the founders and the people closest to the work: trainers, coaches, faculty, admissions, scheduling, and administration. We will map where inquiries arrive, who responds, how assessments and tours are scheduled, how delivery is documented, where proof is lost, and where relationships or information are not company owned. Stage 2 is the growth engine pilot. We choose one APT journey and one pathway journey. We simplify the offer, assign ownership, repair the follow up, create permissioned proof, and measure the movement from inquiry to booked action to completed action. Stage 3 is the scale and new market playbook. If the local workflow works, we document the delivery standards, partner model, proof system, readiness requirements, and AI supported operating routines so a new market does not start from scratch. AI is the operating layer, not the strategy and not the replacement for the team. The first useful operators could help maintain market research, turn one event or interview into a content package, collect proof and permissions, draft responses, route qualified inquiries, support scheduling, track milestones, and produce a weekly leadership report. Every operator needs a human owner, an approval rule, and a measurable outcome. We will not automate sensitive student information, health data, academic decisions, or high stakes family communication without explicit leadership, privacy, and operational review. We also do not need to start with hardware, wearables, or a national platform. Richie described those as future possibilities. The immediate test is whether we can make the current businesses more visible, more coordinated, and easier to manage with the tools and information already available. The objectives for the first engagement are: first, create a fact based map of the current operation. Second, protect trainer and faculty capacity by matching demand to what the team can actually deliver. Third, make APT's existing testing, training, and success stories easier to understand and easier to convert. Fourth, make Pathway's family decision and admissions journey simpler, clearer, and easier for leadership to see. Fifth, keep the two businesses distinct while creating an intentional referral path for the right athlete and family. Sixth, build the evidence and operating standards required before entering another market. In the first 30 days, success is not a vanity metric. We should be able to see response time, ownership, booked and completed assessments or tours, follow up loss, capacity, proof assets created, and the first conversion baseline. If revenue or enrollment is influenced, we will document the source and the attribution assumptions instead of presenting correlation as proof. Before I ask you to commit to anything, I want to make the first step concrete. I'm proposing a 14-day operating truth sprint. We would choose one real APT journey and one pathway journey, map how the work actually moves, talk with the people closest to it, identify the bottlenecks, and establish a baseline. Then we would test one small AI supported workflow with a human owner and a clear approval rule. At the end of those 2 weeks, you would have a current state map, a bottleneck and capacity report, a measurable baseline, and a clear recommendation about what to do next. You would not be approving a large technology build. You would be deciding whether the evidence says we have earned the right to continue. I know the team is already carrying a lot. The goal is to remove invisible work and make the next step clearer, not add more meetings or more complexity. What I'm asking for is a working partnership, not blind approval of a technology build. I'm asking you, DJ and Richie, including the appropriate pathway leadership voices, to begin with a founder alignment session. Then I need access to the employees and faculty closest to each workflow. I know that requires time, honesty, and trust, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to earn that trust through the work. I need the numbers you already have, even if they are incomplete, and permission to document assumptions instead of hiding them. We will choose one APT journey and one pathway journey, establish a baseline, and review progress weekly. If the evidence says we should change the offer, the message, the workflow, or the priority, we change it. The outcome I want is straightforward. Make the value visible, make the workflow repeatable, and make the next market easier to open without asking the team to carry more invisible complexity.